Hello and welcome to the 17 podcast. Today we have Sir Aaron Patton from the New Age Influencer podcast as well as the New Age Mindsets page, which you might know, which is quite amazing with its reels and New Age lessons. So, the theme of this episode is going to be modern problems require modern solutions. So, Aaron, how did you actually arrive at this decision that you want to promote new age thinking?
Sure. First of all, hello everyone, and thank you for having me on. And hopefully, we'll be able to give you some good information here today. So, the new age concept and lifestyle and all that really started because I saw a lot of people unhappy in their regular workplace, their regular corporate life. And that was including myself. And I wanted to figure out a way to kind of get out of that, to do something that I legitimately cared about, but also that I enjoyed. And a lot of people try to find it and they spend a lot of time trying to find it, but they never truly do. So I really wanted to just explore and experiment with different options and figure out what worked for me. I initially left my software sales job to play poker, which I still play a lot of poker these days, kind of as a side hustle. But that, just taking action steps forward and not really caring about what other people thought or the consequences just kind of led me to starting a podcast, and it's led me to online consulting. And the next phase for me is doing some more group consulting for podcasting, and there will be more phases from there. But it really is just all about having the courage to take a step forward, putting yourself outside of a comfort zone, such as yourself doing this podcast at 5:13 in the morning over in India. A lot of people aren't willing to do that type of stuff. So the fact that you're willing to do that and other people like you are willing to do that shows that you actually want to do something different and aren't just satisfied with, a regular accountant job or a regular software engineer job. And there's nothing wrong with those things. But if that's not what you actually want to do, then it's probably not best to pursue them. So it's just about pursuing something that actually fulfills you internally and trying to find a way to make that your actual living and make money doing it as well.
I think that, yeah, most people, like many of the people I have seen today, are not happy with their job and just are direly waiting for the weekend. When's the Friday going to it, or when's the Saturday going to it, and when they are going to go off and enjoy their life. And I think that I don't want to do that. So I've started pretty early on with the podcast, and the aim is to actually do some change in people's thinking, like you are doing right now. And I think the biggest factor when it comes to uh, doing things in life, actually doing anything other than what you're doing right now, is getting out of the comfort zone. And many people fail to actually identify that they are limited by their comfort zone and their mind. And it has happened to me also in about last 2 months, and I identified it yesterday. Okay, so these are the things I need to fix, and I just planned them out in my head, and I just went ahead and did it. Okay, from tomorrow I'm not going to think about these things, and I'll just do these things, because the our mind actually takes us out of the game many a times. The excessive
Correct.
thinking, for example, if we have to hit the gym and then we'll think, okay, I have to get in the car and I have to go and I have to get some protein shakes, and then I have to actually start lifting. And it really actually, what can we say? It lazies us up, and we don't feel like doing it anymore just because we have made a mental picture in our head that these are the things I have to do. So, what do you recommend to actually get out of the comfort zone? Firstly, you mentioned courage, and what can be the other thing that can actually help you get out of your comfort zone and do what you want to do other than what your mind wants you to do.
I think it's just cutting cutting things down into smaller, more manageable and achievable tasks. So, like you said, the first step towards going to a store, going grocery shopping or whatever, I mean, you got to put on your pants. Like, you just do it in small chunks, and it leads up to a bigger accomplishment for that day or for that week or month or quarter or year. And you can just chop it down. It's similar with goal setting. If you're it's really really daunting to look at a year goal or 3 year or 5 year goal because it's just so outside and it's just so far away that it's hard to conceptualize for a lot of people. But if you can break it down into chunks, into a month and then to a week and then to a day and then to an hour, then it's much more manageable and feasible. So if you know that you have to get a certain small task done within a certain hour, then you can see that and you either do it or you don't. And if you do it, then you can go and move to the next task and the next task. And action and clarity really comes from action. So you don't get clarity, on what you should do on step 19, you know, um, immediately. You have to do steps 1 through 18 first, and then step 19 might change entirely, or it might be the same, maybe not. But you have to just stack your small wins on top of each other, and so that they can build up into a larger win. And that's how, when I interview successful people, that's every single one of them. Typically, it's not like they were just messing around for a couple weeks and then they just blew up. That happens
Right.
sometimes, but very rarely. Most of them have been putting in lots of little efforts compounded over time for a long period of time, and they've been doing it long enough and consistently enough where at some point they meet someone or someone promotes them or something happens where they grow a lot or they get offered this certain opportunity or what have you. But it's only because they were consistent in those small efforts over time. So I think that's just congruent with, whatever you want to do, whether you're trying to leave a job, whether you're trying to build a podcast, whether you're trying to build a YouTube channel, or whether you're trying to get a raise at your, regular job, like whatever. Like, you just have to be consistent. And part of being consistent is actually enjoying it. So that's why it's so important to pick something that you actually, get excited about, for no money, so that eventually you can keep doing it, and then eventually you might get paid.
That is a major thing, because many of the young people in India, the youth of India,
Yeah.
actually think about the value of the job, the cash value of the job, and then they plan out studies and accordingly they aim for that job. But as you said, I think we should actually aim to do something which we love, and it should have an added value benefit.
Yeah. I mean, if you're molding your life around a job because your parents want you to have that job, you
Yeah.
you may be smart enough. There's a lot of smart people over there. You may be smart enough to get there and make it, but like, if you finally make it and you put in all this effort, maybe a decade of work, and you get to this point where you're making good money and you have this job, but you really just don't even like the job, like, what have you really been doing? Like, what's your effort for? It's just to get your parents' approval, which I know is important for a lot of families, especially in India. But it's a new age. That's why it's the new age is
Yeah.
thinking differently. It's breaking out of those norms, and a lot of time it is very hard if there's pressure from the family, and if you don't have any money on your own to try things, like, it can be very very difficult. So, and I know it's very competitive over there. It's like you have to have like a master's degree to work at McDonald's, right? It's ridiculous. It's like the job
It's
market is
not
so
like
competitive.
that, but
It's an exaggeration,
yeah,
but
pretty close.
very hard.
Yeah, yeah, but the competition is like, it's cutthroat competition in India. Like, if you are quitting a one job, if you are quitting your job, there will probably be 50 people lining up for that job. That's
Yeah.
the level of competition because of the high population and because of the high literacy rate, I can say, at masters and college level, graduate level. And The problem, yeah, I've actually addressed the problem that people actually look at the cash value of the job, and that's the problem. Just to get someone's approval. And I think that parents actually generally get around after you are successful in something, because they just want us to be settled, well settled, and living a better life than they have lived.
Yeah.
That is their goal. So it actually boils down to, consistency. If we are consistent enough, if we are showing that, okay, I can handle this, I can handle what I've chosen in life, then anyone would get around. Even a person with an empty head would get around. Okay, this is the person, and he's doing it for a long time, so okay, let him do that, instead of forcing him to do something else. And many of my friends have actually chosen a sports field, apart from which is not a traditional or conventional field in India, as we say, the new age.
What
And
field did you say they chose?
sports,
Oh, sports.
yeah,
Well, that's very competitive.
yeah.
Yeah, that
So
would be difficult. I mean, yeah, I mean every just like in America or any country for the most part, or any first world country or what have you, like if there's parents and they want what's best for you, and a lot of times what they think is best for you is for you to have a good job and make more money than them, and that's really what it ends up. And they don't really understand, because they didn't grow up in the virtual economy and the social media economy, that they don't really understand that you can legitimately make money, doing what you want to do. They don't even understand that that's an option, because that was never an option for them. So it's just completely foreign to them. And until you prove that you can actually make money doing something like that, then they're not going to get behind you. But the thing is, the catch 22 is that a lot of times it's going to take a lot of effort with zero payoff before you ever start making money online doing what you want to do. So for the ones that don't have the wingspan to support themselves doing that, or don't have the wherewithal, mentally to continue, it's going to be very hard to achieve success. But the ones who do, then they can prove it out. And then once you hit a certain point, it's just a matter of sticking with it and leveling up and leveling up and leveling up. And it's just how many levels do you want to ascend to? How satisfied are you with the level that you're on? Some people do really well and stay on this level, like maybe low six figures, but some people aren't happy with that. They want to go to 1 million. Some people aren't happy with that. They want to go to 10 million, and it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller as you go up the levels. But yeah, it's really up to you, and choosing something that you actually can stick with. And I think probably for a lot of people listening today, especially in India, it's like you can work a job, that's fine, but what are you going to do with the couple hours you have of spare time? You can either relax, watch some TV, that's fine for some days, but if you care about getting out of that job, then you have to do some different stuff. You're going to have to do different things than your peers to live a different lifestyle than your peers.
right, the topic of financial freedom, we are getting at financial freedom right now. So it is actually, I have seen many people right now nowadays that are not working at all, and are still, I'm not thinking like they are getting by. They are not just getting by, they are enjoying their life to the fullest, and they are not working. They are
Hmm.
working like almost 3 or 4 hours a day, and still they are able to devote their time to what they want to do, which could be travel, or which could be many other things, or investing in their hobbies. But so this is what happens with passive income. It has to be built over time, and not many people actually understand it
Yeah, they
without the
don't.
proper guidance. And that's the problem. And in
Do-
India, not many people know about this.
yeah, I'm not sure how many episodes or whatever you've done about passive income specifically, or types, or whatever, but yeah, passive income is it's the same with just an online brand. It's a build up game. You have to do it for the long term over time, and eventually it compounds like a hockey stick graph. Starts out really really low, and then it compounds. at a certain point. But most people quit here, and they want to, but you have to keep going till
Right.
here to see the success. But it's a shame. So a lot of these things aren't taught in schools, and so that's why the self-education movement is so key. Learning from YouTube channels or podcasts or whatever is so important for yourself to improve, for self-improvement, because there are those options out there that aren't taught regularly. So it's not known by the masses, but it definitely exists. So I mean, I'm sure most 99% of people know what YouTube is, but they wouldn't really equate YouTube dollars to true passive income, where that's probably the simplest form of passive income. It's
Right.
just uploading videos and getting paid by Google for how many views you have, and so you
Right.
never have to create another video again. You can get paid off that original view count, but it's very hard, and you're not going to get paid that much unless you build it up for a substantial amount of subscribers.
So I would like to direct the episode towards new age mindsets once again, the
Yeah.
page which you started. So how did you get this amazing idea to actually have reels and then put a new age lesson below it in the caption? How did you come up with this idea?
To have the
Because
what? I'm sorry.
uh, the new age mindsets page,
Yeah.
it has reels, and the reels have a new age lesson with them.
Oh yes, yeah.
So how did you make such an amazing, fun-packed little bite-sized lesson? Like, where did you get this idea?
Oh, that was just, I mean, so it's just back to what I said at the beginning. I mean, you take small action steps and then you get clear on kind of what the direction you want to go after that. So I don't know how long you've been following that page, but that page is probably about 3 years old. And
Oh,
it originally started as daily advice for men. And every single week I would post a different tip for like guys in their 20s, something about dating, something about fitness, something about mindset, something about this, and then I would attach it to like a image of a pretty girl, because I thought that's how it would grow the fastest.
yeah,
And it was true, but I started getting followers for the wrong reasons. So I switched up the strategy. And started posting just about dating and mindset, and then I didn't want to talk about dating anymore, so I just had mindset. And then I started the podcast, which is New Age, so I switched the name of it to New Age Mindsets, and I was just posting like those motivational type pictures. And then I started incorporating motivational videos, and then I got tired of motivational videos, and so I was like, well, what do I have fun posting? And I started, TikTok came about, and it's like, that's way more fun to look at. So
yeah,
I was like, TikTok videos, how can I mesh the TikTok videos, the fun videos, with the motivational stuff? Because I knew that I had people following me for the motivational stuff, and then new followers are following for the fun stuff, and maybe a hybrid of both. But in the end, it's really just like, what do I enjoy posting the most? And I like to post funny stuff, and I also like to help people actually think about things a little differently, and productively, and not just be a meme page. So be like a funny video meme page with a productive lesson on the back end. Sometimes
right,
they're, a huge stretch, but that's the direction that I've gone in with that page. And I've never seen another page that does that. I mean, because it's not really the norm.
yeah.
So I don't know. So I really don't know how many people follow me these days for the fun content or for the motivational or for both, but I'm hoping that most follow for both. So that's
Uh,
just who I am. I like to have fun and get better, and that's why I put, for a new ager, I defined it. So it's like, if you don't empathize with this sentence, then you're probably not going to like this page. It's like, your new ager is someone who likes to have fun and improve.
yeah,
So that's it. That's how it's just, over time, it's just morphed. And right now, it might morph again into something new. I started with just pictures, and then pictures and videos, and then I went all video, and now it's like all videos with mostly reels, because that's a new feature. And who knows what may happen in the future. I don't know, but just, I try to see what the audience likes and see what they don't. sometimes I'll post something and I'm like, oh, this is, the people are gonna love this, and no one likes it. And then sometimes I'll post something and it's like, this is kind of goofy, but and then it blows up, and I was like, oh, okay. So you never really know. You just have to put stuff out there and see what happens.
So a lesson to be learned here is try things and keep changing.
Yeah, you just got to try things,
That's the
experiment.
key.
Yeah.
Because you know, even if you go out and try things on your own, you'll at least have the knowing that you failed because of yourself, not because of someone else. And
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And that doesn't hurt much because we failed on our own responsibility. That's a certain different level of satisfaction.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So when you take your own responsibility, it's easier. I think it's easier when you don't expect anything from anyone. Things get easier. But yeah, you just got to keep plugging away.
I want to ask you if uh, the yeah, I want to ask you if putting people into boxes and putting ourselves into boxes and branding ourselves as okay, I can do this thing or I can't do this thing, and having that belief, how much do you think that affects a person and his productivity and his long term growth, his or her long term growth over a long period of time?
If you're like putting yourself in a box that you think you're like a certain type of person, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you think of yourself as a certain type of person and your goals are over here, and you don't think that you're the type of person that can achieve those goals, you're never going to try things. You're never going to be willing to make mistakes or look stupid. So you need to cut out those limiting beliefs first and just understand that, yes, maybe some people's personalities are better for some things than others, but like it's really just a matter of you deciding which path you want to go towards and figuring it out. Talent does play a part of success, but talent is really only the variability of time. So it's like two people that want to do the same thing. Maybe two people want to start, a fitness page on you or a fitness account for YouTube, and they both are, they're extremely knowledgeable or whatever, but one's just more talented at promoting themselves and one's less talented. Well, it might take the one that's more talented maybe 2 or 3 years to achieve where they want, 6 figures or something, and then the other one, it might take them 4, 5, 6 years. But if the one that is less talented never stops, then they'll eventually get there. It just might take them a little longer. But it's bashing through those limiting beliefs. If you think of yourself in a little box and it's like, this is who I am, this is my type of person, I can't do anything else because I'm this type of person, then that's an internal game. And that's why a lot of people will never have a chance to achieve that success, because their internal game, their mindset game is all messed up. You got to get your mind right first before your body can produce actions that are going to get you results. So that's why I like the mindsets thing, because it's where a lot of people start. You got to start with in between your ears, and then figure out where you want to go. But if you're sound in between the ears, then you're going to get there. It's just a matter of not stopping.
Yeah.
I would take someone with less talent and a better mindset over someone with more talent and a shitty mindset any day.
Right, because we can't really do anything about a person who does not have what it takes mentally. And you just can't babysit a person, because uh, I actually love this line: God only helps those who help themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
as a practitioner of yoga, as a daily meditator, I know this, I've realized this thing to a certain extent, that you know God and universe, it is just a reflection of who you are right now. To a certain level, it is just a
Mm-hmm.
reflection of who you are right now. It cannot be explained in English language, because English language does not even come close to uh, the illogical, because yoga cannot be explained, it can only be experienced. So the the thing is, once you actually start meditating and emptying your mind of those like ridiculous and rubbish tracks that are just going around and round in your head, and you can actually see those patterns, and then you can actually break those patterns, and that is what has helped me to actually come to a certain point of success and direction, which right now is non-existent. I won't lie, just because I'm on camera. I'm in that state of transformation, which I like. I have to put myself again into that transformational walks and continue my plans for next 21 days. I'll be making a vlog on it, and I'll send you the link. I'm sure you'll watch it. And I think the key is to, if someone has the wrong mindset and they really want to improve, but their mind is limiting them, then they should actually meditate for at least an hour a day. Just sit with their eyes closed. I'm not even giving any kind of instruction, do this or do that. Just sit with their eyes closed. We actually start seeing what the hell is wrong with us, and what patterns are going round and round in our head. And then once that track has actually played out, it doesn't come back just like that. It works like magic. It's just like therapy, where you go and speak to someone and they are getting paid for it. I'm not disgusting any therapist, or I'm just offering a cheap alternative here. Just sit in silence, and one who is able to sit still is, you know, the most efficient and the most productive person of the planet doing nothing, because stillness requires the highest amount of dynamism. Stillness in any aspect of life. That's my solution. It's a pretty elaborate solution, I would say, but it's a quite simple one also at the same time.
Yeah, I haven't dove too much into meditation. I definitely like, sitting, relaxing. I wouldn't really consider me a meditator, but it's probably something I should do eventually. But I mean, yeah, when you're just alone with your thoughts, I mean, you you have to face whatever you're doing or not doing, and then
Yeah.
a lot of times it crystallizes, it becomes clear. If you don't have noise, if you're not looking at your phone, if you're not doing something around the house, if you're just sitting, like you're forced to kind of go to a zen place, which I can see how it can help you be productive immediately afterwards.
Um, my one more question I have to you is, you talked about playing poker. So if you are playing poker, you might be pretty good at it. Otherwise, you won't be playing. And how did you take that step to quit your job and play poker? Because it sounds ridiculous. I won't lie. I'll just be honest. It sounds ridiculous.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is ridiculous. um, yeah, well, I mean, I've been playing for a while on the side, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. All I knew is that I didn't want to be at the office anymore. So that's where it's like I just quit, and I was playing a lot of poker at the time, so I just started playing more poker. I didn't really truly quit my job to play poker. Playing poker is more like a thing I enjoy doing, but it's not like a
Right.
thing that I
Okay.
wanted to make a career. My mindset at that point was, hey, maybe I will be able to make it a career more easily than I think. And if that goes well, then great. I mean, that's cool, but that didn't happen. It's much harder than people think that it is. And plus, you have to spend a really, really a large amount of time at casinos, which I didn't want to do. So after about a year of kind of like traveling and doing some different things and kind of figuring it out, that's when I started the podcast. I was like putting some of my skills towards something more productive, something that was evergreen, and that was a podcast. And then not only creating content, but educating myself at the same time, which I think is an important part of it. It's like you're not only producing for others, but you're producing just because for yourself. So even if no one listens, I'm still getting something out of it because this
Right.
guest is somewhere where I want to be and I'm talking to them, and they would never give me an hour of their time if I wasn't on a podcast with them and promoting them. So podcasting, I say, is the best networking hack in the modern era because you can reach out to anyone and everyone loves talking about themselves. So
Yeah.
like you just promote them and you learn and you also create content yourself. It's an amazing platform that's only really just starting to get going. It's just really starting to pick up after multiple influencers are creating their own podcasts, Joe Rogan, the Spotify deal, and all these different things that are happening. And the podcast listenership is increasing exponentially because it's such a noisy world that people are busy and they don't want to give up their time, and they can just pop the earbuds in and they can do something else and listen, and that's important to a lot of people, is being able to be productive and do multiple
Yeah.
things.
And one more thing is, you actually collaborated with No Snooze podcast, and the new age tip here would be competence and collaboration over competition.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. To grow your brand, you actually need to collaborate with people and not be like, what can we say?
Selfish.
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
trying to find an animal to represent the selfish.
yeah, I mean, there's plenty of pie to go around. The world is
Yeah.
abundant. There's so many opportunities with so many people. So, just because you are doing the same thing as someone else does not mean that, you're not going to be able to get clients and they're going to have all the clients. Like, that's just not true. People are going to go to them because of their personality and how they do things. People are going to come to you because of your personality, how you do things. And there's plenty of people out there. I mean, there's so many new podcasters every day, new YouTubers, new Instagram accounts. It's just it's crazy how much there is. And there's a lot of people that are so overwhelmed and overloaded with information that there's a lot of people that are willing to pay other people who know what they're talking about to tell them what to do. And so that's why most people give money to other people online. It's because they don't want to take the time to figure it out themselves, which is understandable. So instead of you going on YouTube and spending 70 hours watching a YouTube video about something, you can pay someone $150 and get all the information neatly organized and packaged, based off of that person's experience and that person's digging through those 70 hours of YouTube.
Right.
So that's really how it works. Yeah, I mean, people say the last thing is people pay people online for confirmation that they're doing it correctly. I call it CAP, which I got from someone else: confirmation, access, and putting it together. So confirmation, it's like, yes, I'm doing these steps correctly. Access, it's like, okay, I'm going to talk to you if I have a question about it. And then putting this together, helping them actually put the puzzle pieces together so that they have success. So if you're paying a online fitness trainer to get bigger biceps, you're paying that person to confirm that you're doing the lifts correctly. And then if you're not getting results, or if you have a question, you have access to them as a coach or something to ask them questions, and then you can put together a full routine. So that's just an example, but that's what I always keep in the back of my head. People don't pay people online for the information because information is free and it's everywhere.
Right.
People pay to get helped step by step and then achieve a business result, or just any type of result, whether it's business or personal.
Right. And I mean, that's what it is. Even I have observed is that confirmation is a main part of it, and the step by step broken down chunks. Because if we sit 90 hours, if we sit and actually try to learn video editing, which I am actually learning on YouTube, it will take you a long time, but you will get there eventually if you don't want
Yep.
to invest the money.
Yep.
That's what most of Like even Elon Musk says that everything you need is free. You just know how to get it. You just should know how to get it done.
Yeah. What the internet is, it's just like it's a book. If you have a book on something and then you take it, tear out all the pages, throw it on the ground, it's like,
Yeah,
and then on the internet, you're picking the pages up and reading them randomly, and you're like, well, I think this goes here. I think I have to do this before this. Whereas you pay someone, and then they put the book together and hand it to you. So that's really what it is.
my last question to you would be, how do you start your day? I mean, this is not the kind of question which should be last, but how do you start your day?
How do I start what?
Your day.
Oh, my day.
Yes.
How do I start my day? So it used to be that I started my day by sending out Instagram voice notes, which is not really regular. It's not like a regular thing. So my morning routine was like I would wake up and just like send like 15 or 20 random voice notes to random people, thanking them for interacting with my account. So it's kind of like starting out with gratitude, but doing it on your phone. But a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like picking up their phone first thing in the morning because they think that it sets their brain into a wrong direction, which it can. So if you pick up your phone and just start consuming news and
Right.
looking at what the crazy shit that Trump is saying or whatever, like that can put you in a bad mindset for the whole day. And it's like, all right, well, my day's shot now. So now I'm in the news vortex, the negative mindset. But if you use, but I try to do it and send like positive messages to people out there, thanking them, being grateful. And then I jump into whatever I'm doing that day. I mean, the regular stuff, hop in the shower, whatever, brush your teeth, do all that. I don't have anything special that I do like every day. I try to send messages most days, but I wouldn't say that I have like. Some people are really, really, really serious about their morning routines. Like at 5 a.m. I'm getting up, 5:30
Yeah.
I'm doing this, 5:45 I'm doing this. Yeah, that's not me. But I think it's just dependent on who you are. I'm not. Plus, I don't get up that early. I probably get up at like 8:30, 9. I'd rather stay up
8:30. That
later.
is good.
I'd rather stay up later, more of a night owl than I am an early morning person. So that's me.
I think 8:30 is great considering the lockdown. Most people are waking up at 11 a.m. in the morning. So I think we should factor that in as well. But I think 8:30 is a pretty standard time to start the day off.
Yeah. Well, these days everyone's working at home, or a lot of people. Well, I don't know, but you know, it's a whole different topic. Corona, how it's affecting everything.
What do you think the coronavirus has taught you, or actually has it affected your productivity in some way, or is this the best time of your life and you are working the most efficient at the
No,
peak of
I'd
your?
I'd say it's definitely thrown. I mean, it's affected me less than other people, since other people were a lot of times were going to an office and I wasn't. But I don't know. There's a lot of distractions during this period just because of all the crazy
Okay.
stuff that's going on. So I think it's been a little harder. But in the grand scheme of things, it's been easier for me as compared to most other people. Um, but it's just a matter of, I think it's a matter of starting your day off right, starting off with those tasks, the small tasks, and building up the momentum. Honestly, some days I don't even get to the small tasks and I waste my whole day. I'm human. Sometimes that happens. But as long as you're having more better days than worse days, I think you're all right. So
Yeah, there are just some days when you don't feel like doing anything and you just take it. You should take it to relax and not stress yourself out. And the COVID situation has actually been the best time of my life.
good,
I will not lie. I know what's
good.
going outside, but it's been the best time of my life. I've been working uh, on my podcast. I started my podcast in April. I did not even know that this thing was going to happen, but I had actually pre-planned that I'm going to start a podcast. Now it's just a bit more easier to get to people because people are on social network all day.
Yep.
It's not like what can we say? It's not a stigma or anything to be on social media all day, but it's just if you pick up your phone, you are bound to open up Instagram or
Yep.
WhatsApp or anything else. And coming to the travel part of my COVID, I have traveled a lot of places in about 30-kilometer radius, 30 and 100-kilometer radius of my house, and spent a lot of time in nature, which taught me actually like how important it is to value nature and
Mhm.
actually be and spend time in the mountains or on the beaches, whatever you prefer.
Mhm.
It's not a comparison,
Mhm.
and just spend time in nature. Any last tips or lessons you would like to share with the listeners?
Um, I think the two something that I say a lot is having I think two really key ingredients for you to achieve anything you want in whatever field you want is just again it's two P's: persistence and passion. So you can as long as you find something you care about and as long as you can persist with it long enough, you'll get there eventually. So I mean, you should pick something, whether it's on the side or a full-time gig. You need to pick something that you enjoy doing for no money and that you would just like to do anyway, without getting any compensation or anything. And once you find something like that, then it's just a matter of kind of putting the pieces together where you can actually get paid eventually. So persistence and passion, I think, are two things to kind of take away for whatever you do. But yeah, your content, if you're putting out online content, especially, it needs to be fun and repeatable. So that's why it's like, if you're taking 7 hours to produce one piece of content every week, you're gonna get burnt out no matter how much you love doing it. So you got to pick something that's you can produce semi easily and that you can repeat. So that's why I do an interview every week, and then I do like a shorter episode every week, and then I'm posting on Instagram all the time because I just I like posting on Instagram just for fun, with the videos and whatever. So I would I don't even really care if it gets viral or any of that, but as long as it correlates to what I'm doing and who I am, then that's all that matters.
Um, and again, if you are listening to this and if you do not know what to do, keep exploring and keep changing because change is the only constant in life. You
That's right.
are going to have to change eventually at some point until the suffering is like here. Everyone changes. It's actually a gradual build up. The suffering goes like this. It's always a compound effect. You don't want to get it to that level. Meditate, identify what your problem is, just fix it, and just try to get out of your head and get into the game. The last thing I would like to say once again is modern problems require modern solutions. Thank you for listening to this episode.
All right. Thanks for having me.